Hello and thank you for watching Ogun State Television. Abeokuta. Here is the main news for today. I am Idowu Fabajo. On the news tonight, Governor Amosun, Ogun lawmakers hold parley. President Buhari continues fact-finding mission to troubled states. Britain fingers Russia in poisoning of ex-Russian spy. The path to success is to take massive, determined action.
Hello and thanks for joining us on the OGTV main news tonight. From the business segment of the news, the Central Bank of Nigeria says Nigeria's external reserves now stands at $46 billion. This and many more will come during the business segment of the news tonight.
My name is Hakeem Akitulia, and on the sports segment of the news, we'll tell you that the Greek league has been suspended after our president invades pitch with gun. These and many more on the sports segment of the news. See you there.
The harmonious relationship that exists between the legislative and executive arms of government in Ogun State will continue to propel development. Speaker of Ogun State House of Assembly, Honorable Suraj Ishola Adekunbi made this known while addressing the press at the end of a meeting with the governor, Senator Ibikunle Amosun. Honorable Adekunbi said it has become routine for the two arms of the government to come together to discuss how to further move the state forward.
January, we had a meeting with His Excellency, and in that particular meeting, we only had a representation of the principal officers. And this time around, we are here. All the members are here, at least just to judge and to be updated about the state of the affairs of the state. The truth of the matter is that as long as we are having adequate information, that will always ensure that we are always on the same page, and that will bring about that harmonization of our positions regarding issues that has to do with governance.
We need to work with the executive to realize the vision of the government. In continuation of his tour to crisis-affected state, President Muhammadu Buhari was in Makurdi, the Benue state capital, to have first-time knowledge of the security situation and hold consultations. The president, who arrived at about 11 in the morning at the Makurdi military air base, was received by the Benue state governor, Samuel Ortom. From the airport, the president proceeded to the government house, where he had a meeting with top government officials, including Governor Samuel Ortom, representatives of farmers in Benue State, Mieteala livestock guards, and the Benue State joint social-cultural groups. President Muhammadu Buhari assured the people that his administration is committed to finding a lasting solution.
Question of you in your various constituencies to apply for restraint. Myself and the governor and some of you who hold public office will go. But the relationship between cattle herders and the farmers in Benue State will continue beyond us as it was before us. This is the reality of the situation. And it's fall on you as the leaders of the various communities you come from to keep on in touch and keep on leading them and advising them to live peacefully.
State Governor Samuel Ortom All the dignitaries and representatives appreciated the president's concern for the security situation in the state, but called for more proactive measures by security agencies in respect for the rule of law.
Shrinking arable land, global warming, and desertification, as well as the need to diversify the economy through farming, or make open grazing unattractive. Through consultation and research, we discovered that the global best practice for animal husbandry is ranching.
My point is that we should think of redesigning the security architecture of the nation in such a way that the states get involved. National governments are also brought into the picture.
President Buhari has since left Makurdi for Abuja. The U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson was in Abuja on Monday for a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa, Abuja. He was received by the Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Oyema at the Foreign Court of the villa. This will be his first trip to Africa as the most senior U.S. diplomat, and since his arrival in the continent, he has visited Ethiopia, Djibouti, and Kenya. He has initially been scheduled to stay overnight to hold further meetings on Tuesday with U.S. Embassy staff and fly back to Washington. But the African tour has coincided with the shock announcement of a possible summit between North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and U.S. President Donald Trump over the nuclear standoff in the Korean Peninsula. Socio-economic development of Nigeria can only thrive in an atmosphere of unity of purpose and peaceful coexistence among communities. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo made the submission at Ota while on a courtesy visit to Olota-elect Oba Dr. Adeyemi Obalanlege at his palace. Kayode Taiwo brings details of the visit.
Of the former president of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, at the Olota's palace, but the residents say it was worthwhile. Welcoming the former president, the Olota-elect Oba Dr. Adeyemi Obalanlege describes him as a dogged national leader whose contributions to socio-economic development of Ota cannot be wished away.
You're coming to Ota, and you worked with other notable Nigerians and foreigners to turn Ota into an industrial hub in Nigeria. Your Excellency, I must thank you for this. I want you to come and put another legacy resort in Italy.
Recounting the relationship between Chief Olusegun Obasanjo and Ota community in their remarks, Senator Gbolahan Dada, Senator Akin Odusi, former Commissioner for Works in Ogun State, Honorable Waliu Taiwo, and the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Chief Jide Ojuko, disclosed that Chief Obasanjo has brought Ota to world stage with his over 27 years of continuous stay and economic activities in Ota.
Baba, we have been waiting for you, and we are happy you eventually made it here. If you look around, you can see that the whole town is here for you.
It's also a way of bringing good things into Ota. I'm sure before Baba leaves, I'm sure he's going to, Kabesi will make 1 or 2 demands, and that will help in bringing Ota to a higher height.
In his response, the former president, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, commends the Olota-elect for his forthrightness and open disposition to Ota community and its environment.
Ọ̀tà ní gbogbo ohun tí ìlú láti ní fún pé kí ìlọsíwájú kó wà lọ́tà. Ìkíní, àsúnmẹ́kò. Ìkejì, àwa ń pera wa ní gateway state. Gateway wo la wá sọ? ọ̀tà náà ní gateway kí a ní àjọṣepọ̀ kí ó má sí ẹlẹ́yàmẹ̀yà.
Chief Obasanjo also made a promise and commitment to Olota and the entire Ota community.
Èmi ò ní jìnnà sí mi ò sì fẹ́ kẹ́yìn náà jìnnà. Ìpinnu ẹni ọ̀nà ìtẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹni ká ṣe nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ ní àkókò tí ọ̀nà ìtẹ̀lẹ̀ ó yẹ ṣiṣẹ́.
On the entourage of Chief Obasanjo was the former Commandant General of Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Dr. Ade Abolurin, Towulade of Akinale Obaolufemi Ogunleye, and others, while on hand to receive them were the newly installed 4 Coronet Obas in Ota, top government functionaries, chiefs, and business community and youths from Ota and the environ. Kayode Taiwo, OGTV News.
Students in public and private secondary schools across Ogun State have commenced unified second-term examination with English language as the first paper for the senior school and mathematics for the junior school. A rove round Abeokuta metropolis by OGTV News indicated no hitches in the conduct of the examination. Details of the report are in this package.
With English language for the senior school and mathematics for the junior school, the second-term unified examination commenced in both public and private schools in Ogun State, as students were cited writing their examination quietly in their various schools. A visit to Salawu Abiola Comprehensive High School, Oshiele Muslim High School, Isolu, Lantoro High School, among others, all in Abeokuta showed the level of preparedness for both the teachers and the students for the examination. Some principals of the schools visited speak on the timely arrival of the examination materials, with some measures put in place to discourage malpractice.
Yes, we started to time, 8:30 a.m. to precise. Very adequate, very adequate, very adequate. And the materials were supplied in time also. Kudos to the State Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, under the able leadership of our Commissioner, Mrs. Mudupe Mujota.
The exam is going on fine. The materials are adequate. There's a big improvement compared to the previous experiences we have had. In fact, my children are so well behaved. They know the implications, so they don't engage in malpractices.
There's no problem. The questions are complete. The students are here on time, and the teachers also. We started around the time we asked to start.
Everything is going on well. There's no hitch whatsoever. Everything is in order. The question papers are enough. The answer scripts are also enough. So we don't have any hitch whatsoever. Everything is in order.
OGTV News coincidentally came across the monitoring team of the State Ministry of Education, led by its commissioner, Mrs. Mudupe Mujota, who says measures have been put in place for a hitch-free exercise.
First and foremost, the examination questions are set at the beginning of term. So we already ensure that we've held the hands of our teachers and our students and held them accountable for ensuring that all the learning that is scheduled for second term actually takes place. Secondly, we monitor the implementation of lectures of classes to ensure that the lesson notes indeed cover the syllabus, and we follow up with the teachers' progress as well. Corrected, but by and large, I'm very happy. Our principals are on their beat. Exams have commenced in earnest, and our children also have turned out in their good numbers. So I'm happy also with the parents.
She urged the students, parents and teachers to be up and doing to have a brighter future.
We're following up on the results because right now we've set a pace with NECO at least, and we don't want to lose our footing on that one. So it's not in the twilight of your days that you begin to ramp up your grades. It's right from the beginning, and we encourage all our students to do well consistently so that at the end of the day the higher education potential of Ogun State will be on the on and up.
The students are expected to seriously face their studies in order to enhance success in life. Idowu.
The 2018 Alma Mater Day celebration by the Conference of Old Students and Alumni Association of Western Nigeria holds on Tuesday, 13th March 2018. Venue is the Valley View Auditorium, Isale Igbeyin, Abeokuta by 9 in the morning. In a statement jointly signed by the conference President and Secretary, Professor Delano Adelekon and Alhaji Kunle Adegbite, the occasion will be chaired by the Alake of Egbaland, Oba Adedotun Aremu Gbadebo. Special guest of honor at the occasion will be the Governor of Ogun State, Senator Ibikunle Amosun. According to the statement, the theme of the day is Do Something for Your Alma Mater Now. The guest speaker, Venerable Olushola Ladipo Ajayi, immediate past National President, Baptist Boys High School, Old Student Association, will speak on the topic, the role of Old Student Association in alma mater development. Meanwhile, all public servants, political and career officers at all levels of government are enjoined to visit their old schools, particularly the primary schools, during the period. According to the Permanent Secretary on Service Matters, Mrs. Bosedi Modukbe, the visit would encourage both the students and teachers of the schools visited, and it will also create an opportunity to contribute towards the development of the alma mater. She said pictures, stories, and other tokens of participation can be shared with the Donor Relations Office at Room 140, Block D, Okemoson, Abeokuta. You're watching OGTV News, and still to come, Nigerians applaud federal government's move to sell recovered public asset. We will bring you the details after this timeout. Do stay with us.
My father said opportunity knocks every minute. He used to say to me that even the rising sun is an opportunity. A man must give each day everything. I live by those words. Just 1 minute of one day can change everything. Every day he stepped out with the belief that today might just be that day.
At FCMB, we believe every day is a new opportunity. Let's help you step forward and take it. FCMB, My Bank and I.
Thanks for staying with us. Nigerians have adjudged the decision of the federal government to sell off the recovered public assets as an effort capable of achieving developmental goal. This, among many other reasons, was identified as an healthy move for government to fulfill its promise by bringing all looters of public funds to book. As respondents fielded questions from our reporter, Morenikeji Shobaluju, on the gains of selling off recovered public assets. Our report.
Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari, in a statement, recently said all mismanaged and misappropriated national assets that have been recovered would be sold off and the proceeds will be paid into the national treasury.
We have been expecting the federal government to announce that so that it will serve as deterrent for others, because there has been a kind of insinuation that the government and its officials, they are just sharing that looted property. So it's a good gesture.
I am one of the Nigerians that are worried. You recovered national assets. After the recovery, you are keeping such materials in custody of who?
Some legal practitioners, while reacting to the legal implication of federal government's decision, acknowledged several gains inherent in doing so, maintaining that when any wealth is acquired illegally and such is proven beyond reasonable doubt, then the law can take its course.
If there's no any pending appeal, automatically, if they have been adjudged to be, for example, looted fund, you understand, definitely it has to go to the government, so it belongs to the government. So there's no any legal implication, there's no any appeal.
For government to stand today and say something is ill-gotten, they must have done their investigation. Whoever they have approached and have investigated and they have seen that the wealth he has gotten was gotten through fraudulent means. There is no legal implication there. Government can take it.
Other Nigerians say no one can hide the identity of the owner of a property, but if such is linked to corrupt practice, then government should stand on its determination to bring culprits to book.
These properties are stolen properties which belongs to us. So the fund recovered from the sales should equally be judicially used. Federal government must not or must ensure that the process is so transparent that Nigerians, regardless of their affiliation, participate. Government should put in place a kind of mechanism that will not rubbish the whole idea.
If the recovered national assets from those who have illegally taken them are not sold on time, they will be swallowed by human rats, human snakes, and human vultures.
They maintained that the proceeds from the sale of recovered public assets should be channeled towards infrastructure development and general growth of the economy.
It's part of a way to solve our debt problem. So if the proceeds realized from the sales is something we can use to offset the debt, why not?
Even where they give all these monies recovered to beggars, to widows, is still taking care of national economy.
Although the journey to end corruption is believed to be far, government must not relent in its effort and remain consistent in fighting corruption with the intent of achieving common goal as a nation. Moreni Keji Shobaloju, OGTV News.
In its bid to curb violation of traffic light signals and other road signs in Ogun State, the Traffic Compliance and Enforcement Corps, TRACE, will start arresting violators of traffic rules and regulations. This move will forestall incessant carnage on major corridors of Ogun State roads. In view of this, OGTV News crew visited the headquarters of TRACE to know the level of preparedness for the exercise. Kunle Ibikunle's report is presented in this package.
In recent times, motorists, Okada riders and other road users in the state are found of breaking road traffic laws, especially light signal in the state. Towards ensuring carnage-free road, the State Traffic Compliance and Enforcement Corps, TRACE, will commence the enforcement and arrest of traffic light signal violators in the state. While speaking on the preparation made so far by the command, the Public Relations Officer, Commander Babatunde Akinbiyi, states that preparation is in top gear for the exercise.
We are going to stretch it for a whole week, starting from Ibara down to the government house. We also go through Akin-Olugbade, Shakmo, and also at Iyana Mortuary. Those are the 5 areas where we have the traffic signal lights that are working now. So, and it's going to encompass Okada drivers, motorists, tricyclists, essentially. And we only want to use this opportunity again to tell road users, you understand, that they should comply with traffic signal lights. It's not meant there for decoration. It's meant for the people, especially those that are making use of the road.
Akinbiyi says any violator apprehended would be persecuted by the law.
Government is making a whole lot of sacrifice to put certain things in place for you and I to benefit and use. Why should we now go and truncate government efforts? It's not good. It's not good at all. So we want to implore the motoring public to please obey simple traffic rules and regulations. Those that do not comply and you are apprehended for those traffic infractions, you're going to be prosecuted.
He, however, warned every road user to continually obey traffic rules in the state in order to curb unnecessary road carnage.
High-class security training for capable paramilitary personnel with active involvement of law enforcement agencies is said to be a possible and efficient way of combating the menace of abduction whenever it is occurring the world over. This forms the consensus of opinions of those who spoke with OGTV News on the incessant rate of abduction, particularly in Nigeria, its causes and suggested solutions. Details of the report are in this package.
Abduction as a global issue, though, has become an historic matter in Nigeria, where government has been working hard to ensure that the social challenge is nipped in the bud. Abduction, otherwise referred to as kidnapping, is illegal confinement and holding anyone in captive, typically for a ransom from the victim or his family members. Endemic corruption in the society, said to have eaten deep into the fabric of socio-economic system over the years, has also been identified as one of the causes of kidnapping. What then could be the possible causes of such acts of social disorder?
The issue of kidnapping is not even limited to our children alone. It is now something that has become so rampant across states in the country. So we have condemned it in the open, that the kidnapping of the Chibok and even the Dapchi girls, it's something that is barbaric.
Those who do not want the security apparatus of this country to be streamlined, or call it decentralization, call it devolution, no, they have their own personal agenda. Otherwise, but we are all of us are possible victims. You can hardly stop and park your car that, oh, let me just use myself somewhere around here. If you're not careful, you're gone.
As the function of the government at providing adequate protection for citizens' constitutional rights to life and property, respondents added that the leadership of the country would need to step up action against the forces behind the menace of social disorder of abduction.
Security of our nation should not be left to the hands of the security agencies alone. Every one of us must be security conscious, the parent, the schools, every stakeholder must be security conscious. We should be concerned. We should not say, oh, we have the police, we have the army, we have all of them. No. And the government as the umpire must also provide a secured environment.
Well, I do care, if you give the state police, the governors will misuse it. Are you saying those who are running the federal policing system are different from those who are likely to run? Let the state also misuse it if you're talking in terms of misusing it. But the fact still remains that you can't say a governor is the chief security and doesn't even have control over the DPO.
Abduction, which has become an albatross to the nation, must be tackled headlong, where government would need to place kidnapping on the same pedestal as insurgency, terrorism, Niger Delta militancy, and general armed robbery in the country. It must also be treated as an emergency situation where it occurs to individual or group of people, particularly the younger ones. Peter Falomo, OGTV News.
The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, has warned unauthorized persons against loitering around centers designated for the Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board JAMB examinations. Mr. Philip Ayuba, Niger State Commandant, said in an interview with newsmen in Mina that the warning became imperative to ensure the success of the examinations. He said that although reports from the computer-based test CBT centers in the state revealed that the exercise was going on smoothly, it was still necessary to warn unauthorized persons from going to the centers. All prospective candidates are advised to stay away from the centers when it is not their turn for the examinations. They are also advised not to come into the examination hall with all prohibited items like handset, camera, earpiece, and any other electronic device. A 42-year-old man, Idowu has been arraigned before an Abeokuta magistrate court for allegedly obtaining 52 million naira from one Ayobami Alashila under the pretense of building a house for him at Ibejuleki area of Lagos State. Also, a 27-year-old man, Sunday Oduaye, who is standing trial on robbery case before Magistrate Court 5, Ishabo Abeokuta, has been remanded in prison custody. Kola Waliosho covers the court proceedings. Details are presented in this package.
Sometimes in the year 2016 at Ogede District, Shomori area of Abeokuta, the accused person, Adegboyega Olamilekan, was said to have obtained the sum of 52 million naira from one Ayobami Alashila under the pretense of building a house for him at Ibeju Lekki area of Lagos State. According to the prosecutor, Inspector Sunday Igbijali, instead of fulfilling the agreement, he started threatening the complainant, Ayobami Alashila, that he will terminate his life if he asks for his money or property. This unlawful attitude led to his arraignment before the Chief Magistrate Court 1 in Shabo Abeokuta, presided over by Mrs. Adiola Adelaja. The accused person pleaded not guilty to the charge brought against him, and in view of this, his counsel prayed to court to grant bail in the most liberal terms, citing Section 118 subsection 2, which she said gives the magistrate court a discretionary power to grant bail to an accused of such nature of the offense. She enjoined the court to use the discretionary power in favor of the accused person. The prosecutor, Inspector Sunday Igbijali, opposed to the bail application, saying the accused, if granted bail, would not attend his trial, adding that such privilege was given to him at the police station, which he abused. Having listened to the submission of the defense counsel and that of the prosecution, Chief Magistrate Adiola Adelaja granted bail to the accused persons in the sum of 1 million naira, with 2 sureties and like sum, and the most have developed properties with approved CFO within Abeokuta Magisterial District, and adjourned the case till 24th April 2018. In another development, Sunday Uduaye, who is standing trial for robbery case before an Abeokuta Magistrate Court 5, has been remanded in prison custody. The accused was said to have robbed one Oshidia Jumoke of a purse containing cash of 50,000 naira. Magistrate who presided over the case, Mrs. Victoria Williams Oyetunji, enjoined his counsel to channel his bail application to High Court and ordered the remand of the accused in the prison custody.
Up next is business news. Let's join Kayode Taiwo for some business news.
Welcome to business segment of the news. The Central Bank of Nigeria has disclosed that the nation's external reserves currently stands at $46 billion, and at the figures were steadily heading towards the $50 billion mark. Figures obtained from the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) as at the weekend indicate that the reserves grew by about $3.2 billion between February and March 2018. Having risen from 39.3 billion at the beginning of 2018 to 42.8 in February, before hitting the new high of 46 billion as at the close of work on Friday. Confirming the figures, the CBN Acting Director of Corporate Communications Department, Isaac Okorafor, attributed the continued accretion to the country's reserves to the bank's efforts, vigorously discouraging unnecessary importation, aid reducing its import bill. It also add to inflow from oil and non-oil export, as well as the huge inflow through the investors and exporters window of foreign exchange markets. As the deadline for the federal government's Voluntary Assets and Income Declaration Scheme (VATS) draws near, the Chartered Insurance Institute of Nigeria (CII) has advised insurance practitioners to pay their tax. Its president, Mrs. Fumi Babintin Ashai, gave the advice at the VATS Awareness Lecture in Lagos. She said the aim of the seminar was to create awareness among the institute's stakeholders such that defaulters, if any, could leverage the opportunity to make it up to government by paying their tax obligations. She said the penalties for not taking advantage of this window for those that will be caught will be very severe. She noted that it is therefore important that they spread the word to encourage more tax compliance, stressing the fact that the payment of tax is a legal requirement and therefore makes it mandatory for all persons to pay taxes on their legitimate income. The Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, has said the number of fraud cases attributed to internal abuse by staff of banks increased from 231 in 2016 to 320 in 2017. Head Communications and Public Affairs of NDIC, Mohammed Ibrahim, said in a statement in Abuja that the figure was in organizational recent reports on off-site supervision of deposit money banks. The 286 responses received from banks in 2017 cited 26,182 cases of fraud and forgeries, which is 56.30% higher compared to 16,751 cases reported in 2016. Similarly, the amount involved in the fraudulent activities documented increased by 3.33 billion naira from the 8.68 billion reported in 2016 to 12.01 billion in 2017, or 38%. Ibrahim said internet and online banking and ATM card related fraud reported constituted 24,266, or 92.68% of all the reported cases, resulting in 1.51 billion, or 63.66% of losses in the industry in 2017. He said the report also documented other miscellaneous crimes such as fraudulent transfers, withdrawals, cash suppression, unauthorized credits, and fraudulent conversion of checks. International oil companies which entered into production sharing contracts with the federal government more than 2 decades ago are still enjoying the generous terms they got, as talks of renegotiation over the past few years have yet to materialize. The delay of the much talked about renegotiation of the terms of the 1993 production sharing contracts between the federal government and international oil companies is not only depriving the government additional oil revenue, but also creating uncertainty in the nation's oil and gas industry. The nation's oil and gas production structure is mainly split between joint ventures with the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation onshore and in shallow waters, and PSC in deep water offshore. And lastly, the federal government has disclosed that Nigeria is recording massive decline in food importation, stating that its agricultural policies have started to have far-reaching effects on the transformation of the sector. Speaking at the inauguration of chairpersons and members of boards of 23 agencies and parastatals under the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Minister of State in charge of the ministry, Mr. Heineken Lokpobiri, stated that the country had achieved significant results in its bid to grow the sector. According to Lokpobiri, over the last couple of months, the importation of food items, including rice and fish, into the country had reduced significantly, adding that efforts are in progress to further reduce all food imports to the barest minimum. He stated that since the inception of the current administration, concerted efforts have been made to diversify the economy, and agriculture is the foremost sector being explored in this regard. And that's how we see it from the business angle of the news. Back to Idowu Fabajo for the rest of the bulletin.
You're welcome to the foreign segment of the news. A plane carrying 71 passengers and crew has crashed on landing at Nepal's Kathmandu airport, killing 49 people, according to police. Rescuers pulled bodies from the charred wreckage of the plane operated by Bangladesh Air and US Bangla after a raging fire was put out. The airline has blamed air traffic control, but the Nepali authorities say the plane made an unusual landing. Flight BS211 veered off the runway while landing on Monday afternoon. One survivor who managed to break through a window says the aircraft gave a violent shake followed by a bang. Offering his condolences, Nepalese Prime Minister KP Sharma only promised an immediate investigation. 22 people are being treated in hospital for injuries, police spokesperson Manoj Nupiang said. He said 8 people earlier reported to be missing are now presumed dead by the authorities. U.S. President Donald Trump's plan to deter school shootings does not include his repeated calls to raise the age for buying semi-automatic rifles to 21, but is moving ahead with his controversial proposal to provide firearms training to school employees. The president tweeted that there was not much political support for raising the minimum age on weapons sales. Americans must be 18 to buy a rifle or shotgun and 21 to buy a handgun of licensed dealers under its proposals. The White House unveiled its proposals on Sunday night, almost a month after a high school shooting left 17 dead in Parkland, Florida. The 19-year-old suspect, a former pupil, allegedly used an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle to attack Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School on 14 February. The White House said a new federal commission on school safety will examine the age limit issue. Still on the foreign scene, former spouse Serdar Skripal and his daughter were poisoned by a military-grade self-agent of a type developed by Russia. Theresa May has told MPS. The Prime Minister said the government concluded it was highly likely Russia was responsible for the Salisbury attack. The Foreign Office has asked Russia's ambassador for an explanation. Mrs. May said that if there is no credible response by the end of Tuesday, the UK would conclude there has been an unlawful use of force by Moscow. The chemical used in the attack, the PM said, has been identified as being part of a group of nerve agents known as Novichok. Mrs. May said either this was a direct action by the Russian state against our country or the Russian government lost control of its potentially catastrophically damaging nerve agent and allowed it to get into the hands of others. Still on the foreign scene, South Korea says it has not received a response from Pyongyang on the summit between North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and U.S. President Donald Trump. In a surprise development, Mr. Trump has accepted North Korea's invitation to direct talks. South Korean officials said Mr. Kim was prepared to give up his nuclear weapons. Details on the planned talks remain vague, with no agreement yet on the location on agenda. Analysts are skeptical about what can be achieved through talks given the complexity of the issues involved. A spokesman for the South Korean Ministry of Unification said they have not seen nor received an official response from North Korean regime regarding the North Korean-US summit. South Korean officials who spoke to Trump are now on the way to China and Japan to brief the leaders of each country on the upcoming talks. South Korean President Moon Jae-in's top security advisor Chung Eui-yong is scheduled to meet China's President Xi Jinping. Meanwhile, Sun Hoon, chief of intelligence agency, is heading for Tokyo to speak with Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. It's now time for some sports stories with Akim Akitunde.
Welcome to the sports segment of the news, starting from the world of tennis as she gets set to face Sister Venus in the third round of the Indian Wells Tennis Tournament. Serena Williams, who just returned to the court after childbirth, has been speaking on her comeback after her second round victory.
I'm getting there. I have a long way to go. I have such a long way to go. It definitely felt better than the first round, but I mean, I'm still a little rusty. I'm still making errors that I don't normally make, but I call this a trial run. You know, I didn't, even with the baby, like a trial run with traveling with the baby and traveling, like all this is like just so new to me. So, yeah, I'm getting there. So I have to be ready, you know, and whether it's Venus or anyone else, it's going to be someone. So obviously I wish it was anybody else in the draw, literally anybody, but that's okay. I just have to just go out there and see how I am and do my best.
The football now, the Greek Super League has been suspended indefinitely after PAOK Salonika's president invaded the pitch with a gun during a match on Sunday. Ivan Zavidis tried to confront the referee with a gun in a hip hustler after his side had a late goal ruled out for offside against AK Athens. AK's players left the pitch concerned for their safety and did not return. The match was officially abandoned 2 hours later, and local police are seeking Zavidis to arrest him. World Football Governing Body, FIFA, and European chiefs, UEFA, both condemned the incident but said any disciplinary measures fall under the jurisdiction of the Greek FA. Zavidis, one of the Greece's richest men, was born in Georgia of Greek heritage and is a former member of the Russian parliament. Mohamed Salah's transfer value has increased the most of any player in Europe's top leagues during the last 6 months, according to a new data. The Liverpool and Egypt forwards market value has risen from 74.7 million euros to 102.8 million euros. Salah, 25, is the leading Premier League goal scorer with 24 goals. There are 6 Premier League players in the top 10, with Manchester City pair of Ederson and Leroy Sane in second and third in the CIES rankings. The data is based on top 5 leagues in Europe and only produces stats on players who have not changed club or extended their contract in the last 6 months. And Jamie Carragher had been suspended by Sky Sports after a video showed the former England and Liverpool defender spitting towards a girl in a car from his own vehicle. The television pundit had been covering Liverpool's 2-1 loss to Manchester United for Sky on Saturday. He apologized, but Sky said it takes the matter extremely serious and strongly condemns Jamie's actions. A Danish television channel has also pulled off Carragher from its coverage of Manchester United's Champions League game against Sevilla at Old Trafford on Tuesday. Manchester United midfielder Michael Carrick has announced he will retire at the end of the season. Carrick, 36, has played for 463 times for United since joining from Tottenham for £18 million in 2006 and won 34 England caps. There comes a time when your body tells you it is time to stop. That is where I am at, he said. Carrick has been restricted to only 4 appearances this season because of an irregular heart rhythm. In his 12 years at United, he has scored 24 goals and was given a testimonial by the club last June. Despite his success at club level, Carrick made just 1 appearance at a major tournament for England. And back home, week 12 matches were played across the federation in the Nigeria Professional Football League (NPFL). In Makurdi, Lobby Stars pipped Katsina United 1-0, Wiki Tories hammered Rivers United 3-0 in Bauchi. FC Fanyuba and Abia Warriors played to a 1-1 draw in Newi, while Kwara United were also held 1-1 at Ilorin by El Kanemi. In Mina, Tornadoes pipped defending champions, Plateau United 1-0. Go Round also had a 1-0 victory over Sunshine Stars in Omoku. It was also a 1-0 in favor of Rangers, who played against Eyimba in Enugu. MFM remained invisible at home in Agege, Pomelin, Heartland 3-0, while Yobe Stars humbled visiting Kano Pillars 2-0. And reports just coming in. says Kwara United management and coach John Ubu have mutually agreed to part ways. To Taekwondo now, World Taekwondo says it is looking to get the sports included at the 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. Taekwondo will not feature in April's games, but the sports governing body has created a working group to liaise with the event's officials. World Taekwondo says the sport is played in 88% of Commonwealth nations. The organization believes it will prove a popular addition to the Birmingham program, with England's Bianca Walker-Dean and Lutalo Mohammed, as well as Wales' Jade Jones, all winning medals at the 2016 Rio Olympics. Two Ogun State boxers, Lukman Lawal Olaiwola, 81 kg, and Shoyoye Kazim Adeola, 60 kg, are among 8 pugilists selected to represent Nigeria at the 21st Commonwealth Games in Gold Coast, Australia. The duo was selected in their weight categories after a series of trials among the 32 boxers invited to camp on the 17th of November 2017. Similarly, Coach Idowu Yinka, also from Ogun State, is one of the 2 coaches that will be leading the team to the Games. A 10-man team comprising of 8 boxers and 2 coaches will be representing Nigeria at the boxing event of the Gold Coast Commonwealth Games. And lastly, Nigeria wrestler John Emmanuel has been ranked number 1 in the men's 70 kg freestyle by the United World Wrestling. Emmanuel, a 2-time African champion, will retain this African title at the 2018 African Wrestling Championships in Port Harcourt, becomes the first Nigerian man to reach the number 1 ranking in a long while. The Bayelsa-born wrestler raced up 24 points and 13, closely followed by Uzbekistan's Igitior Navruzov with the same number of points, while Ramadan Hussein of Egypt is ranked 3rd with 22 points. In the women's wrestling rankings, Odunayo Adekuroye is ranked 7th in the 57 kg with 16 points. Her compatriot Bisola Makonjola, who also won her first African title in Port Harcourt, is ranked 3rd in the 50 kg. Blessing Oburududu is ranked 4th in the 68 kg, and Bosse Samuel is 6th in the 53 kg. However, Nigerian male wrestlers are not ranked in the top 10 in the Greco-Roman wrestling. While we maintain our 3rd ranking, tomorrow as we return with fresh package on the sports segment of the news. For now, I'll hand you over back to Idowu Fabajo. Thanks for watching.
You're welcome from the sports segment of the news. We shall now serve you the weather forecast for Tuesday. The path to success is to take massive, determined action. And just before we go on the news tonight, let's remind you of our top stories. Ogun State Governor Senator Ibikunle Amosun has held a parley with members of the House of Assembly. We said President Muhammadu Buhari has visited Benue State in continuation of his fact-finding mission to troubled states. And in the foreign scene, we said Britain is suspecting Russia's involvement in the poisoning of ex-Russian spy. The Central Bank of Nigeria has put Nigeria's external reserves at $46 billion. And on the world of sport, we said Greek League has been suspended due to pitch invasion by president of PAOK Football Club. And that's it on the news for tonight. Many thanks to you for watching. I am Idowu Fabajo. Good night.